Super. Rayana, can we do a really quick test run where if you could just say hi in a sentence and then we can try and make sure that we translate that right and then we can move and then we can start.
Sure. Hi. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Rehana Rasool. I'm currently based in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm hoping that everybody can hear me and that I hope you will enjoy the presentation.
Can we have a Hindi translation, please?
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम रयाना रसूल है। मैं आप सब के साथ जुड़ी हूँ नायरोबी, केन्या से। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप सब मुझे सुन पा रहे होंगे और मैं आपके सामने जो प्रेजेंटेशन प्रस्तुत करूंगी उससे आप पूरा लाभ उठाएंगे। धन्यवाद।
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. We're going live. Hi everyone and welcome. Hi everyone and welcome to this session on which is a campaign launch, and we're very excited to have Rayana with us who's with the IPPF office and leads and is the lead for change in communication. Rayana in her role focuses on leading the program of action on anti-racism for IPPF. In addition to this, she is responsible for the MA Forum and ensuring MA communication is up to date and disseminated. She supports communication work on Strategy 2028. Rayana is a former journalist with experience in international development across Africa, focusing on social and behavior change communication, SRHR, and adolescent development. We're very excited to have Rayana here with us, she has joined us from Nairobi, Kenya, and she will be sharing with us a very exciting campaign that the IPPF team has developed. Over to you, Rayana.
Great. Thank you, Sweta. Fantastic. Just also to let you know that we are working specifically with an ad agency called Portland, and I see my colleague Ed has posted in the chat over there. So if there are any questions that I can't answer, Ed will support me on that as well. So let me share my screen quickly. I can find your window. Great, thank you. Sweta, can you see that clearly?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so thank you to everybody and welcome to this morning's session. I'm really super excited to be here and happy to be with you all. Just to say that this campaign is part of a broader strategy, our broader strategy 2028 that we are working towards in terms of having a broad-based strategic plan, new strategic plan for IPPF come 2022 next year, late next year. So this is part of the strategy that will feed into it. So let's get on to the exciting business. So, you know, we've all seen or used or been part of discussions where words like fuck, smash, pussy, they've all been used with reference to sex in so many particular ways. And, you know, language is so important in terms of how, especially in this day and age, in terms of how we talk about particular things. And so we've seen the lingo and the slang for terms relating to sort of sex. And you know, when we look at different languages across the world, we see how the word sex or different understandings of the word sex is used in sometimes derogatory ways. And we've seen a new kind of you know, frontier in terms of where these kinds of discussions are also being held. And we know that young people and especially Gen Z these days are wanting to kind of find their own frameworks for how they address particular things. And IPPF would like to partner on this and not necessarily be bound by the terms of old, or thinking through how we have referred to terminology in the past. So what we decided, or what we thought about in the beginning, aligning it to our new strategy going forward, was how do we revolutionize or think about revolutionizing how we discuss sex? So our way of doing this is looking at building a new sex dictionary. So a way of thinking about sex in more positive, you know, in more positive terms, giving ownership of sex back to people, actually having it, and creating our new sex slang together. And this is the buzzword that we're hoping to promote, is looking at new sex slang. And so what we want to find out are the words that actually describe sex, love, and dating in this new generation, or at least how the new generation sees it. So everything from sex to dating, body parts, you know, romance, passion, intimacy. We all have these very kind of sometimes they are kind of quite conservative words for it, and sometimes a word doesn't even exist for that. I mean, when I come from in South Africa, in the language Zulu, the word for sex is, there's no word for sex, you know. So I'm sure in other languages, so when you talk about sex, you have to use a whole string of words to actually describe it. And the same I understand in Lesotho, which is the Sesotho word for sex. The way I was working in this field, and it says sharing blankets. So, you know, there's lots of different ways that people describe it. So in this particular frame, we have now, with our advertising agency, Portland, come up with this challenge, this online challenge called the hashtag New Sex Slang, and you'll see the top over there. So we're inviting people to contribute their words, their definitions, their images, their, you know, videos, you name it, through our webpage and through social media using this hashtag, New Sex Slang. And then with these submissions, which of course we are also sort of filtering through, because we, you know, not everything that comes through is framed within the positive way that we want it to. So, you know, with these kinds of submissions, we want to kind of lead the way in, you know, in developing modern, creative, respectful ways to talk about all things sex and sexual health. And then you can be anybody and contribute on the website. And we're you know, we're just trying to get it out there so that people can, and you can upload your words, your posts, anything that you want. You can do it you know, via your own social media, or you can do it anonymously via the website. And so every day we are sharing the new inputs and the new uploads. So you can even check into the website and see what other people have said, what other people are posting, what are the words that are being posted. And ta-da, there's also a prize at the end of it all, because ultimately it's a challenge. So, you know, in most challenges, there are prizes. And once we have enough traction on the website, we will reveal the prizes as well. So, so what are we asking you to do? There are 3 ways that you can participate in this challenge. You can, you know, enter your own submission on the website with the words or the definitions and why you think it's a good word or a bad word, or a word that you would want to, you know, find a different way of talking about it, and why you think it should be included in the sex dictionary. So you might have a slang word that you have a particular issue with, like you don't really like it. Why don't you like it? So, so tell us these things. And then a translation of that word. So you're not confined to just talking about this word in English. You can talk about it in your own language, in whatever language it is that you feel comfortable in. And then, or you can come up with or describe a whole new word that could, that could go into the dictionary. And whether that is sort of, a mashup of different words that you're bringing together, or your own unique word that you have decided to attach to a particular body part, for example. These are things that you can also write in there, or you can share an image. Or a video that describes your word, and then lastly, we also asking you to please share. If you are, if you want to share on your own website, all of the details are on, on your own social media, all of the details are on the website for you to be able to do that. So we'd love to, for you to share and then obviously use the hashtag. So the campaign was launched yesterday, and when I'm done here, I'll just put the website up so that you can see it. The website is www.newsexslang. Let me just double check that. Yeah, www.newsexslang.com, I think that is. And once I'm done, I'll go into it so you can see the actual website. So from yesterday, people are sharing content, tagging friends, posting about the challenge. So, if you can take it forward, that would also be great. And then just some images of kind of what we're looking at. This is an image from the website, what the website actually looks like. And this is the challenge where you can upload your words. So you can upload your words, your images, or your videos in the box below to have your say, rewrite the dictionary. It's going to be open for about 2 weeks. So, you'll be able to do it within that time period. And then there's a little box at the bottom here, which we are actually in the process of making bigger. So you'll be able to write as much as you want in that little box. You can write your word. You can say whether you love it, whether you hate it, or whether you want to remix the word. And then these are just some of the social assets that you'll be able to find on the website for you to be able to share as well on your own channels if you want to do that. And then lastly, we have a list. We've been, frantically engaging influencers in different parts of the world. So globally, we've got on board up to, I think, almost up to over 20 influencers that we are using. And they are also helping us to share sex positive messaging, sex positive language for our sex diary dictionary. And this is this is also a huge part of the campaign as well. So thank you, but let me quickly go into the website. So let me just share that screen so that you can see. There we go, that is it. So you'll see there, newsexslang.com. So that's the website at the top there. And then you can go down and you can actually add your submission in there at the bottom as well. So great. So thank you. I'm just looking. Yeah, so thank you very much, Sweta. I think that's the end of my presentation. I don't know if there's any questions or any contributions, any feedback, anything that people would really, I'm so open to just having the discussion about this if people are interested. Thank you.
Hi, Rihanna. Sorry about that. There's always a tech glitch when you're least expecting it.
Hi, okay, no problem. I thought it
What's a
was me.
session? No. What's a Zoom session nowadays without a technical glitch or two, right? But thank you so much for that presentation. That was really interesting, and we're so excited to see some of these ideas come into play. I think there's a question about the role of the influencers, and I think people want to hear a little bit more about how you're working with the influencers and the examples of some of the people that you're working with, what you hope to get out of that interaction.
Great, Sweta. I'm wondering if it's possible to give Ed, who's also on the call, because Ed's been actually actively recruiting some of the influencers. If it's possible to let him enter in, and Ed can help us to just, give us some of the influences that we're getting, why we're getting them, what exactly is the kind of content that they're posting, etc.
Absolutely. We're just going to add Ed
Thank you.
to the panel.
Okay, but in the meantime, just to say that, Ed and the team have pulled together a long list of influencers from all the regions that IPPF works in. So, from ACRO, from the Americas and the Caribbean, Africa region, South Asia region, ECOR, AURO. So we had a long list, and then we kind of had to, then we started reaching out to people, and we got some really amazing feedback. And then also, but obviously we're still looking, we want as many people to be sharing this as possible. Hi, Ed, how are you? Thank you for joining us. It's super early where you are.
Right. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Ed. I'm from Portland, and I'm part of the agency that's helping IPPF bring this challenge to life. So thank you all very much for your time. It's a little bit early here in London for me, but yeah, so in terms of how we're using the influencers, they're being used to just kind of spread the message across all the regions globally. So we have influencers across Europe, we have influencers across the Middle East, Africa, South America, Australia. There's really not a part of the globe that we haven't managed to at least find one or two influencers that are really passionate about this project and the message that we're trying to send out. So we've had some really great content already go live from some other influencers, and I'm sure some of you will already follow or know the influencers. I'm going to put one of them in the chat here. And so the influencers, yes, the primary purpose of them is to kind of just help spread the message to a wider audience. That's one of the key things. The second thing is obviously a lot of sex positive influencers that talk about this on the platforms have been doing this for a while, and they really know their audience. They know kind of what people are thinking, what they're doing, and they've just been also a really great help in helping us shape the challenge even further, to make sure that we're being considerate, to make sure that we're being appropriate, and to make sure we're just kind of moving in the right direction with our terminology and our thoughts. So there's some really interesting stuff that they've come out with. Please feel free to share their content or to comment on their content. And if you've got anything that you'd also like to add, please share your own very similarly using the hashtag and tagging in IPPF.
Thanks, Ed. And so just also to say, this kind of campaign or this kind of project is, you could say, like, how long is a piece of string? Because you can go on and on and on, and words will shift and change. And we know that sort of, words can be words can make people happy, language can make people happy, but it can also be destructive in the way that we talk about things. Words can cause violence, words can cause different other things, and we see that more and more in terms of how, you know, how the internet potentially perpetuates and drives some of this, even hate language, you know. So the point of our intervention and our campaign is to really get us thinking about what are the positive aspects that make us feel happy, that make us feel glowy, that make us feel, you know, have a good feeling inside of us around the words that we put forward. And to understand how this can also ultimately contribute to how IPPF creates its strategy for the next 5 years. How can these words and descriptions and get us to understand what young people, what the new generation, how they are thinking about sex and moving forward? It's a different shift for us, for IPPF. We are super excited to move into this kind of participatory way of thinking about how we shape our new strategy going forward. So this is your opportunity also for you to input into our strategy for the next 5 years through this particular kind of creative campaign. And ultimately, as I said, after week 1, once we've gotten enough, we will be putting out what those prizes are. So for now, it's a surprise what the prizes are. Thank you. But Sweta, I think that's from me and from Ed. Yeah, if there are any other questions, I don't know.
Thank you, Rihanna. I think there was one more question about how this links to the IPPF strategy session, and you just sort of touched on that. So that's really great. Thank you both, Ed and Rihanna. I think this has been such a great session. If there's anything else that you want to tell us about the campaign, I know the prizes are secret, but we're all going to participate nonetheless. And I think what really struck me as you were talking was the idea that, you know, we reframe some of this language to make us feel happy inside, so that sex doesn't become such a shameful activity, or there isn't so much of a taboo and stigma associated with it. And I think that's such a great thought, because for young people nowadays, especially, there is the need to reframe some of those conversations, because you can't even address you know, some of the larger questions unless you can get them to talk about sex in a way that makes them happy and gives them a sense of control. Fantastic.
Exactly.
I love to hear
exactly.
it.
And maybe, Sweta, just to say that, you know, most of us come from super conservative areas. You know, I recall, and okay, I'm ancient right now, but I recall when I was young and in high school, I would have to keep lookout for my friend who was going to get contraceptives, you know, and for anybody that was coming, an aunt or whatever. And I'm sure that still happens today with young people, that you cannot go and get your contraception easily, freely, quickly. So if you can't even talk about those aspects of it, then how are you even getting to the point where we're talking about sex openly? And in South Africa, this was a couple of years ago, there was a campaign on a radio station about sex, talking about sex, talk about it. And they used masturbation in an ad on the radio. And it was about a girl in a bathtub talking about how the water was swirling, and she was talking about masturbating. And the very next day, as soon as that ad went on the radio, the very next day it was pulled off the radio. And people went to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, and it, you know, ultimately it never went back on air. And so you are talking about kind of, you know, for us to hopefully try and push this campaign, try and get young people to think about, you know, how they speak about sex in their own little, in their own spaces. That's all.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for making the time to be with us today. We're
So
really
you're
lucky
so
to have you.
welcome, Sweta.
And thank you, Ed, as well. I know it must be very early in the morning for
That's
you.
right. Thank you for your time.
We're really looking forward to seeing where this campaign goes, and we're hoping to see all of the exciting things that come out of it. Thanks once again. I think we will share some more, and on the chat we have shared details of some of the influencer content and the website as well. So we encourage all the participants to take a look at that and leave us your feedback, participate, and like Rihanna said, there's a prize for participating, or is there? But yes, thank you once again. And we hope that some of you will stay on and join us for the next session, which is also very exciting. It's the launch of the Youth Social Venture Fund in South Asia. And we hope that some of you will continue on and join us there. Right.
Great. Thank you so much, Sweta. I think I will stay on. Ed, I know it's early for you, so you can go back and have some breakfast.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.